like I said, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to keep my glasses on because I don't want to keep putting them on and off. And I have my handy dandy notes here that I'm going to be reading from. So I will be looking down at those to make sure that I give you every piece of detail that I created earlier. So we're going to start with how you can tell if you're getting paid and why and what's the difference. And, you know, first of all, what's the difference between being lied to and getting played? A lie is something that a person does. A lie or deceiving you is something that an individual do by themselves. Hey, whoever that was, who was that? Is that tell me hey so I can say hey to you as you come into the room. Being played is when you consciously or unconsciously help someone to deceive you. Okay, so there's a difference between the two. Okay, so signs of you, whether or not you're being played. What prompted me to talk about this is I am in another group where there's different questions that are asked, and I try to answer the questions, you know, when I see the questions or whatever. Everybody attempts to answer questions or, you know, make a conversation behind that question. And it was about, she said she had been played and she was done with whatever. And so my whole thought is, how do you get played? How do you get played? And so I kind of thought about it, and I created some, you know, like I said, I created my notes and whatnot, and I want to share those with you tonight. If you're meeting someone, one of the signs that you are being played is when emotions happen quickly. They fall in love with you quickly. Say in the second or third phone call or the fourth or fifth conversation, they've already declared their love for you. And you know, you feel like it's real. They're saying all the things you want them to say. And then as soon as you become intimate, or as soon as they get whatever it is that they're after, which is usually sex, all of a sudden that love kind of go away. And what I want to say to that is love is sustainable. It doesn't just go away just because you don't get sex, right? Or whatever it is. So if you meet a person and within a couple of weeks they're already saying they love you, even if you're not being played, you have to doubt their mental, you know, their mental stability, because it takes more than a conversation. Now, I'm not saying that love on first sight don't happen, but it's very rare. I'm not saying that it don't happen, but it's very rare. And so if you are thinking, okay, well, this is one of those rare chances that maybe love happens on first sight, that's fine and dandy. However, just because a person say they love you does not mean that you love them, and it don't mean that you have to have sex with them or do anything that you're not comfortable doing with them. Another way to know is when the words don't match their action. So they say, I want to spend time with you, but you never get to spend time with them, right? When spending time is kind of overtaken by work and family, every time they say they want to do something, they have an excuse about family, work, friends, something come up where they're not able to spend time with you. But every time sex is involved, we find a way. They find a way to spend that time with you. If he or she is into you, and this is for males as well, this is not just, I'm not just speaking for females who, you know, who this happened to, but if a person is into you, they will find time to be with you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care what kind of shifts they're working. I don't care what it is. If a person is into you, they will find time to spend time with you. So when those words are not matching the actions, be cautious. Watch for the red flags. That, you know, that's watch for the red flags throughout this whole thing. Contradicting declarations, and what I mean by that is, okay, so when the words and actions don't match, that's words and action. But contradicting declarations is when they say something and then they say something else that contradicts what they've just said. And one of the examples is when I was talking about they want to see you, but then they complain about you being needy and clingy and don't come see you. You know, it's like contradicting what they're saying. Oh, I love you so much. And then they go cold, you know. So it's like the word or the words that they use towards you is not words of love. So it's like you're accepting second best on something. They're not their words. The first one, I don't want to confuse it. When the words and actions don't meet, that means they say they're going to do something, or they say something and then they don't, and it don't match what they're saying. When they declare something and then their words come back and use that same thing against you, I guess is a better way of explaining it. The words are contradicting. And, you know, if you tell a person what you need and they're not able to give that to you, stop tolerating that type of, you know, either they're not ready yet, they're not there yet, and they're not trying to be there yet. Stop tolerating that. Stop settling for something that you know is not going to happen. And I'm going to tell you about how all this even be able to happen. Now, I said that lies and deceit is something you can't control. You cannot control anything that someone else says, but you can control the way you respond to it, and that's where being played come into it. Another way to know that you're being played is you get the side chick treatment, that you never go out, you always inside. You don't go to restaurants, you know, you Netflix. And they ain't saying there's nothing wrong with Netflixing and chilling. It's not. But that's not your soul going out when you're talking about just meeting somebody. If they can't take you out in public and they're treating you like they're hiding you, they're hiding you for whatever reason, whether it's because they're not that into you or because they have somebody else that they're into and they don't want them to see you with them. So if you're getting a side chick treatment and he's claiming that you're his number one, but you never go out with him, you never go out in public with him, you're probably getting played, unfortunately. If you never get to know his life outside of your little secret circle, if you never get to meet his family, if you're never introduced to friends, if you're not part of his outside of that little bitty circle that he keeps you in, yeah, you probably getting played. And and it's not you know, it's not always something that's immediately obvious, but it comes up. When I was out there dating, I remember talking to this guy, really cool dude, and you know, he was all about, you know, talking, whatever, and we would go places, which is really strange. I don't understand the mindset of a cheater, but we would go places in public. I guess because we were maybe where he lived was a little bit further from where I am. It was no problem going out to places. However, when it got to a point where after a couple of months, and I had never spoken to any of his friends, I'd never gone to where he lived, it's obvious that they're hiding something. His excuse was that he had a tenant that lived in the basement, and it was something about he's uncomfortable bringing people because of the tenant in the basement. I have no idea what that was about. I didn't stay around long enough to find out what that was about. But I'm saying those are the type of examples where a person will use any excuse that they can to keep you out, to keep you away from their the things that they value. And to me, if a person values you, they want to include you in those things, right? Don't hang around for no 5, 6, 7, 8 months and you've never stepped on the inside of a person's a person that you're supposed to be interested in, that you're supposed to be in a relationship in. You never stepped on the inside of where they live at, because regardless of the excuses they make, and it could be, you know, I'm not comfortable with where I live because, you know, that fake I'm ashamed of it type of thing. It doesn't matter where they live, especially if a man is interested in you, he wants to see you in his domain. And it doesn't matter whether it's the best space in the world or not. He just wants you to be in his space. So if that don't happen, that is definitely red flag. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is what happened. This is why you can avoid being played. When a player is looking for, I'm calling a victim, they can sense when there's a core need that you have that you want fulfilled, and you don't have that core need fulfilled. So what happens is you meet these people, and I'm telling you, energy attracts energy. So if you're looking for sex, or if you know, you don't have that need fulfilled for sex, or if you don't have that, you have attention thing that you need this attention, or this affection thing, you need this affection, they can tell this. And what they do is they target that core need, right? Because that need is not fulfilled. And what they do is they come in, it's like a process. And this actually came from someone's mouth who told me this, when you hang around guys, sometimes you get guy information, but I'm not saying females don't do this, but a guy told me this. What they do is they come in and they woo you first. And this is everything that you wanted to hear. All the sweet words, the attention. I will text, call, and message you if I have to. Taking you out, doing all the things that you enjoy, all the things that you have probably told in some type of way was a need for you. Like I said, if it's the attention, if it's sex, affection, whatever it is, they know what that core need is, and they woo you into that false sense of relationship, trying to make it easy for them to get what they want. And what they do is they fulfill that core need. So say if my need was for affection, right? And I meet this guy, and we always do and say things that becomes where people can kind of read what it is that you want. When we're on Facebook and we see people doing different things, we know when they want attention, right? We know when a person even if they're saying something totally off the wall, you can tell when a person is saying or doing something to get attention. No backlash from the butt shots, no backlash from the, half naked people. I don't care what you wear on Facebook. I don't care what you post on Facebook. But when a person sees another person posting naked pictures or almost naked pictures of themselves, a person can tell that that individual is seeking some type of attention. If you weren't, you wouldn't be posting. I don't care how you try to put it up and say, women can wear what they want to wear, or men can wear what they want to wear. If you are posting pictures of you scantily dressed on Facebook, it's because you want some type of attention. And I'm not saying that means anything other than those words, attention. Okay. It doesn't mean that anybody has a right to touch you. It doesn't mean any person have a right to say anything to you. What I'm saying is for attention. So say if I wanted that attention, I know I said affection first, but we're going to do attention because that's the example I gave. And an individual see me on Facebook, and the only thing I'm doing is my selfies, and I'm trying to get the shots to get everything that will, scream attention. I want attention. An individual can come in and say, okay, I see you. I love light, love. You're beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And they can say all the things that I would want as a person who want that attention. And they would fulfill that core need. They would fulfill that core, that need for attention from me. And that is almost like a high, I guess I would say, that you're getting what you need. You're getting what you need. And slowly but surely, as they feed that attention need, everything else kind of slack off. So I can give you that attention that you want, but I'm not going to invite you out anywhere. I'm not going to do, and all your other needs, your secondary needs kind of get thrown off eventually after all the wooing. Now in the wooing stage, everything is, you have 100%. You think you've met Prince Charming, but then eventually those bottom needs kind of fall off, and they just continue to fulfill that core need, because that is what's going to hold you in this relationship or lack of relationship, depends on how you say it. And you get stuck in that. And I'm going to tell you this as well, that was also told to me by a guy. And this is how those core needs become your bait for players. When a guy come in and they woo you for those first couple of weeks, a couple of months, say 3 months, you get Prince Charming for 3 months. And you guys tell me if you have ever been in this situation. No shame at all. No judgment. You were with somebody for 3 months, and during those 3 months, he is like Prince Charming. You go places, you go on dates, you get to post the cute little Facebook pages, you get to put up your relationship status or whatever it is that y'all do. You get to you know, he taking you to these exotic places and buying you little things that make you think, okay, he gets me. He's talking, he's calling, he's doing all the right things, right? And after those 3 months, he slowly started dropping off. All the nice stuff start to slowly drop away, right? Something in our head tell us, even after years, that we can get those 3 months back, right? So we keep trying and trying. And it can go on for, like I said, years. You can be in year 3. And like I said, people, raise your hand if you've been through this. And if you're catching this on a replay, tell me that if you've been through this, or you've seen someone who's gone through this. They got 3 good months of Prince Charming, 7 years of hell. And in that whole 7 years, they still trying to recreate that 3 months. You're still trying to get back to those 3 months because you feel like, well, he used to be this. What happened that, you know, what have I done that make him change from this? And you worked those whole 7 years trying to figure out, what did you do wrong? How do I get him back to where he was? The truth of the matter is he was never there. Those 3 months were set up for the purpose of what they did, to keep you in something for 7 years or more. Some of us have. Some of us have spent so many years of our lives trying to get back those 3 months or those 6 months or whatever it is. And we always say, you know, but I've invested so much into this relationship. And this is why, because after those 6 months and you go through all those years of trying to recreate those 6 months, this is the waste right here. Those 3 months is just something they set up. If you've been in a relationship for 5 years and you can only recall 3 months being good, then you have wasted 4 years and 9 months. There's no sign of it getting better. You have wasted those years. That's not who they were. It was an act to get what they wanted. I don't want to be the one to tell you that. But that's the truth. That's the truth. And the results of this type of stuff, the result of this happening when they fulfill that core need and then they drop off all your other needs and you wondering what happened, or one or two things will happen. They'll either go away or they'll stay. If they go away, this is where your self-esteem will drop, your self-confidence goes down. What did I do? What did I, how did I run him away? I'm not worthy. My worth is I'm not valuable. And, and in this time, he's away. The best thing that can happen is you go through your process, get over him. But there are times when they'll come back just because they know if I come back and fix that core need that she has, then she'll forget all this other stuff that's happened, And so the best thing that can happen if they go away and they stay away. And this way you can heal and you don't have to worry about wasting any more time with that type of person. The worst, like I say, the worst result is if they come back. If they come back. Or even if they stay and don't leave. But once they get you in a position where you feel like you're still constantly trying to grab onto something that never really existed, that's where your time is being wasted. And this is where you're being played. Now, I was telling you that you can avoid this. And this is how you avoid it. I was telling you about your core need is what players go after. They know what you want. They know what that one thing is that you need. Some people want to feel like they're young forever. Some people, and so people play on that. Some people want to feel like they're sexy, and people play on that. Some people want that attention. Some people want the affection. Some people want that, just that whole thing that goes with the relationship, so we can go on social media and do all the things that we do. And but those are the core needs that you're waiting for somebody else to feel. But if you feel yourself to 100%, you don't have to worry about a person trying to feel you. And when I'm saying feel, I'm saying F-I-L-L, not F-E-E-L. Feel you. You're waiting for somebody to pour into you for something that you need. But if you get what you need yourself, if you get yourself to 100%, then, okay, analogy. You ever go into a grocery store when you're hungry? When you go into a grocery store and you're hungry, I don't even like cauliflower, but if you put it a certain way and I'm hungry, all of a sudden I can think of all the good things I can do with cauliflower. Brussels sprouts are okay, but that's not something I would necessarily buy. But if I'm hungry, all of a sudden I can think of every dish in the world I can make with Brussels sprouts. But I'm settling for anything just to get that hunger, taken care of. I'm getting that core need filled. However, if I go into a grocery store and I'm full already, I'm going to go in there and get what I need. Hey, Latanya, thank you for joining. I am doing fine. How are you doing? How are you doing? But if you go in a grocery store and you're already full, then you will take your time to get that healthy food plan that you went in there for. You won't be distracted by all the other side things. This is the same way it is when we don't feel ourselves, when we're waiting for somebody else to fill us. Now, you may meet somebody every once in a while who may be able to, who actually not trying to play you or not trying to use you for whatever reasons that they're using you. But most of the time, when you have that need out there, that core need that's not being filled, you will settle for anything just to get it filled. But when you feel it yourself, when you're already 100%, you don't need anybody to fill that core need. And a person can't play you at that point. They can't play you. And the decisions that you make are decisions that you want to do. Because when you have yourself full, you know how that feels, so you don't need anybody else to supply that for you. And if they start taking away, if they start trying to take away from where you are already, then you can stop that at that point. But that's if you're full already. So get yourself 100% filled, and then you won't have that core need for them to attack to even start with. It won't even, they couldn't do it. There's nothing that they can do. It's like, I'm in the store, I'm full. I don't need Brussels sprouts. I don't need cauliflower or whatever it is. I have everything I need already. Right now I'm planning ahead, and I can do that with a level mind because I'm not deficit in anything. Got me? Okay. Okay. So, oh wow, I had a lot of notes. I don't even, okay, so let's see. Okay, so another thing I wrote, I wanted to make sure I'm telling y'all everything, so I wrote these notes. Even when you are full, every once in a while an extreme player can come and get you, right? Can still try you. So this is the same analogy as the grocery store. You go into the grocery store, you're already full, but you go past and they have the samples of that cheesecake. Now, you didn't come in there for it, and you're not necessarily hungry for it, but you can still kind of fall for it. And this is when your intuition is your best friend. This is like your cape. This is like your S on your chest. Your intuition is your S on your chest. Listen to your intuition. Because every once in a while, you may come up to one of the extreme players who can get through all that stuff I just said. All those signs about, I'm so in love with you fast, early on in the relationship, when their words and their actions are not matching. And they're saying, I want to see you, but every time they supposed to come see you, they got every excuse in the world and don't. So their words and their actions are not are mixing together, they're not matching. And then you have where the declarations are not, they're contradicting. So I want to spend time with you, and then before the next second is, why you always need me over there? You're so clingy. That's where the declarations contradict each other. When they don't introduce you to the things that matter to them, when they don't take you to their space, these are the signs that I talked about earlier. All of these signs are indications that you may be being played. And when all else fails, your intuition is sitting there like a freaking beacon, telling you the answers. And because when you're not full, that core need is, has the possibility of being filled, you overlook it. Now, this is where when they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. This is where that is going to come in at. Because if you know the signs of being played, and I just told you about 5 or 6 of them. So you know now, right? And yet you still hold on because you feel like you need to get that core need filled by somebody else. Then you don't hate the game, hate the play. You don't hate the player, hate the game. Because that's what it is now. You're playing the game. You are being a part of the game at this point. Okay? Don't play the game. Feel yourself. Then you won't need anybody else to feel you. You won't need anybody else to feel you if you feel yourself. I went over it really quickly when I did the timing is off, the words in action don't match, contradicting declarations, side chick treatment. That was the one I was telling you. Side chick treatment, when they don't take you out, you just Netflix and chill for the whole freaking relationship. I told you about even the incident that I had with the guy who I never stepped foot in their house. And most people want to see you in their domain when it becomes more than just casual conversation. When your core need is exploited, okay? When they woo you in the beginning, then they fulfill that core need, and then all of a sudden all your other needs kind of drop off after the woo stage is over, and then they start acting crazy and doing anything they want to do, but you stay because you're getting that one need fulfilled, even though the rest of it is gone. But when they leave, which we hope they leave and don't stay, but when they leave, you all of a sudden, your confidence is gone, your self-esteem is down the tubes. Down the tubes, yeah. You feel like you're not worthy, you don't feel like you're valuable, and you start asking yourself, what did you do wrong? And the truth of the matter, it had nothing to do with you. And all of your reactions are internalized actions, if you notice. Anything that, when you're in a situation where a person has quote unquote played you, it's all internalized. You always start asking yourself, what did you do? So I say, and let me tell you what happens with this. I think I missed this little part of it. When you go through all of that and your confidence is down and you're feeling bad about yourself, what do you need? You need a boost, right? And only thing that does is to rinse and repeat. It's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle. Okay, so let me say this again. You've gone through all of that. He's left. No explanation. He's treated you all kinds of ways, but you know, whatever. He was fulfilling that one core need. And when you get down on yourself, you need a booster and you start back over again, because now that booster is that core need that players attack, what they look for, so that they can play you. So it's an endless game, honestly. It's an endless game unless you get to 100% yourself, and then you won't need anyone to fill your core need. You won't need anyone to fill you it out, because you'll be already full. And like I said, when all else fails, trust your intuition, because you can't get played unless you're part of the game. If you're not participating in the game, you can't get played. Okay? Don't participate in the game. You know when it's happening. When you feel like, oh, maybe this will change, or maybe, and like I said, to any of you who are out there listening right now, who are listening on the replay, if you have been in a relationship where the good times, the really good times, where you felt like he was it, is so much less than the actual time you've been together, then you having that time. Okay. Then you're using that time that's wasted. That's basically you wasting your time. If you've been with a person for 5 years and you can only remember 3 months in the beginning of it being good, you have wasted the rest of that time in between those 3 months. Those 3 months are not who they are. You cannot get it back. I don't care if you stay in that relationship for 1,000,000 years. That was not who they were. Stop trying to relive the 3 months when you've been in and you constantly live in reality for 7 years. Okay? So, bottom line, you can't get played if you don't participate in the game. Okay? So, y'all, do anybody have any questions or have any say-so or any type of concerns they want to add to the conversation? If you're watching it on the replay, please feel free to put it in the comments, and I will definitely get back to them later. I will get back to them later. Like I said, I was in an accident. I want to go ahead and complete some more paperwork before I get ready to call it a night, even though that's going to be for a minute. But I do have to go back and get into some stuff. And you guys, if you not have bought your tickets yet, okay, what are you waiting for? If you have not bought your tickets to Sweet Talking, let me explain that really quickly. Sweet Talking is the event that I'm having on May 12th. That's the Saturday before Mother's Day. Bring your mom, bring you. Come and treat yourself. Bring your girlfriends, bring your boyfriend, bring your friend girls, bring your friend boys. Buy your tickets. Join me. It will be wine tasting. It'll be conversation. It'll be good company. It'll be a little bit of meditation to get us in the space that we need to be to enjoy ourselves and to release from all of the working and the extra and the running around and all this other stuff. We're gonna decompress. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have conversation that actually means something, that actually puts you, make you kind of see where your mindset is, and also give you the perspective of others around you. So if you have not bought your tickets yet, the link is gonna be on top, and I'm gonna have to ask you what you're waiting for. I want to see you there. I want to hear what you have to think about, what you think about the different questions and the different situations that we'll be talking about. We'll also be comedy relief cards, where that'll be fun. It'll be comedy relief cards as well, where it won't just be, serious conversation. And the conversation can be however way you flow it. There's no right or wrong way. But there is only one way that you can get involved, and that's going to be buying those tickets from that link up there, okay? Let me see you there, okay? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for staying with me and listening to me go. And I am so serious about this conversation right here, and I would really, really like to hear your thoughts. And maybe give me something that I've missed. What other hints are out there when you in a plate situation, whether you've been through it personally or whether you witnessed it from afar? I want to know what you think. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and log off now, find me some food, finish my paperwork, be back online in a couple of seconds, and I'll see you guys on the other side. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.